Previously, I did a video going over what if the MCU was structured like the DCEU. Now, to go alongside that, I've decided to make my own take on what the Marvel version of the Arrowverse would look like. The counterpart to Arrow was actually one that there were quite a few options for. The most obvious choice is Hawkeye, but I actually considered Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow. Ultimately, I settled on Daredevil, who had a TV show in real life, and I think this could have a similar vibe to Arrow. Flashbacks show Matt Murdock's origin, where a chemical accident causes him to go blind but enhances his other senses. Then, after his father is killed, he leaves Hell's Kitchen and seeks training under Stick alongside Elektra and Kraven, as they face off against the man who killed his father, the Fixer. In present day, Matt returns to Hell's Kitchen, where he reunites with Foggy Nelson, Richard Fisk, and Natasha Romanoff. Matt and Foggy start a law firm while Matt goes out at night as a vigilante referred to as the Devil, who is investigated by Ben Urich. Throughout the season, Foggy discovers Matt's identity and begins working with him. They meet Karen Page, who goes on to become Matt's love interest. Ava Ayala is introduced after being saved by Daredevil, and she begins wanting to be a vigilante herself. And Daredevil faces off against Bullseye and Mr. Fear. The main villain is Richard's father, Wilson Fisk, who is revealed to be the Kingpin. Fisk creates an earthquake device to destroy Hell's Kitchen so he can take control of what is left. At the end of the season, the device activates. They manage to shut it off, but not before it destroys half of Hell's Kitchen, and Richard dies. Kingpin seemingly dies as well, but he'll come back. Daredevil Season 2's flashbacks reveal that during his second year of training, Matt crossed paths with Natasha's adopted sister, Yelena Belova, who is presumed dead but was actually taken and trained by the Red Room. They face off against the Red Room, leading to Elektra's death, while Kraven is injected with a super soldier serum that makes him go crazy. In the present day, Yelena returns as a vigilante known as the Widow. Bullseye and Mr. Fear return, although Mr. Fear dies. Nathaniel Essex is introduced, later revealed to be the villain Mr. Sinister, who is working for Kraven, still alive in present day, and seeking revenge on Matt. Ava is injected by the same serum as Kraven, setting her up to become White Tiger. Fisk returns, which connects to the introduction of the Hand, which he was a former member of, and the Thunderbolts also appear in an episode. Daredevil defeats Kraven, and he is imprisoned. And this season would introduce the counterpart to The Flash. Most people would do Spider-Man, however, if Marvel is anything like DC, which in this universe they are, they wouldn't let the CW use their most popular character. Instead, an episode introduces Reed Richards and Sue Storm, who are visiting Hell's Kitchen. The episode ends with them preparing to go on some space mission. As I just alluded to, the counterpart to The Flash is the Fantastic Four. In flashbacks, we find out that Reed's parents died when he was young, and he was taken in by his father's friend, Franklin Storm, meeting his daughter Sue and his son Johnny. In present day, the three of them, alongside their friend Ben Grimm, are now astronauts going on a mission into space, where they are hit by cosmic rays and crash back to Earth. This gives them their powers, but also, when the ship hit Earth, it created an explosion of cosmic energy that gave various people powers. These become the villains the Fantastic Four face off against throughout the season, such as Mole Man, the Wizard, Puppet Master, Red Ghost, and Multiple Man. Another person affected is Johnny Storm's girlfriend, Frankie Ray, who becomes Nova towards the end of the season, while Namor appears as a recurring antagonist in a few episodes, and the main villain is Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom is an old friend of Reed's, whose face was scarred in one of his experiments. Blaming Reed for the incident, Doom leads a revolution in his home country of Latveria and becomes ruler before setting his sights on the Fantastic Four. In the finale, Doom faces off against the Fantastic Four and disappears, seemingly defeated, but he'll come back. Daredevil Season 3 has the Hand arrive in Hell's Kitchen, revealed in flashbacks to have helped train Elektra, and then drawn the attention of Matt after her death. They now come to recruit him. Ava becomes White Tiger, while Matt faces off against the Hand's leader, the Silver Samurai, and is almost killed by him, but is saved by Psylocke, who he met in flashbacks. While he's gone, a new crime lord named Tombstone takes power, leaving Yelena, White Tiger, and Natasha, who was trained by Yelena and becomes Black Widow. He is defeated only when Matt returns. Hank Pym is introduced and becomes Ant-Man late into the season. Daredevil joins the Hand, but as a plan to take them down from the inside. They escape with some help from the Fantastic Four, and ultimately Silver Samurai is killed, and Fisk takes over the Hand while White Tiger leaves. The first crossover, Daredevil versus the Fantastic Four, is fairly simple. The first episode has the Puppet Master create lifelike puppets of the Fantastic Four that he uses to destroy their reputation. This brings in Daredevil, who faces off against them before they come to an understanding, and they team up against the Puppet Master and his puppets. The second part has the Fantastic Four follow Daredevil back to Hell's Kitchen, where they help him defeat Boomerang. Around this time, a Doctor Strange show would start on NBC, but only ever last for one season. It doesn't really matter what it's about. Let's just say a plot similar to the Doctor Strange movie, but the season finale would never actually air. However, this show would be retroactively established as part of this universe. In between seasons of the main shows, the first season of a short animated series called Black Panther would release, following T'Challa as he becomes Black Panther and faces off against Killmonger in a similar plot to the Black Panther movie, except along the way, he actually leaves Wakanda and crosses paths with both Daredevil and the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four Season 2 introduces the multiverse as Reed manages to build a gateway to another universe, where they meet this universe's version of the Fantastic Four known as the Future Foundation, who have their own version of Victor Von Doom working with them, and are facing off against their own villain, the Super Skrull, who also helped villains from his universe escape into ours. These villains include Goliath, the Lizard, and a villainous version of Black Widow. The team finds out that the Super Skrull is a shapeshifter and could be any one of them, with Reed becoming suspicious of Victor. Instead, however, it's revealed to actually be Johnny, who has been the Super Skrull this whole time. The alternate universe Johnny Storm is dead. At some point, a few of the heroes are captured by the Super Skrull alongside a mysterious masked prisoner. After a final battle against the Super Skrull, he is defeated and the heroes free the prisoner, who is revealed to be the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond. Also, Frankie Ray leaves the series early on, and Namor shows up in an episode that partially redeems him, both of which set up another show. Daredevil Season 4 has Dreykov and the Red Room arrive in Hell's Kitchen. Dreykov is an immortal former member of the Hand who has magic powers and a rivalry with the Silver Samurai. In flashbacks, it's revealed that Matt ran into Doctor Strange, who is reintroduced here and also returns in present day in the same episode. Yelena and Ant-Man leave the season early on, setting up the same show as Fantastic Four. Dreykov's plan is revealed to be to activate all of the world's nuclear weapons, killing everyone except for a few survivors who will start the world over. He also kills Natasha. Matt finds out he has a 10-year-old son who he reconnects with, while Daredevil teams up with Black Panther in one episode, which leads to him getting his own powers to take on Dreykov. He uses these powers to take away Dreykov's powers, leaving the two of them to fight one-on-one, and Matt kills him. The third major show in this universe would be Silk, which is set in an alternate universe called Earth-62, where Spider-Man is the world's greatest hero. The show focuses on Cindy Moon, who was bit by the same spider as Peter Parker, discovering her powers and being recruited by SWORD, working with their head scientist Bruce Banner, while also dealing with his other side, the Hulk. She is also helped by her friends Ned Leeds and Phineas Mason Jr., who is the son of the Tinkerer, who appears as a villain in one episode. Hobgoblin is the main villain, while Alistair Smythe and Electro are recurring villains. In one episode, the Fantastic Four accidentally arrive in this universe and help Silk defeat Electro before going back to their universe. The second crossover would be Age of Apocalypse, where Apocalypse arrives in New York to hunt down Layla Al Fali, who is saved by the Fantastic Four, and they go to Daredevil for help. They meet Moon Knight, who reveals that he and Layla are avatars of the Egyptian gods Khonshu and Taweret, who helped imprison Apocalypse centuries ago, and now Apocalypse is back and he wants revenge on them. Layla becomes the Scarlet Scarab, and the heroes team up against Apocalypse. Apocalypse seemingly dies, but it is implied he will return. This leads into Legends of Tomorrow. I could have changed something to find a counterpart, but since Legends of Tomorrow was an original team anyways, I figured I might as well just keep it. The team is brought together by Cable, who comes from a future ruled by Apocalypse, revealed to have been resurrected after the events of Age of Apocalypse. After his family was killed, Cable goes rogue from the TVA and recruits a team to stop Apocalypse. The team includes Yelena, who now goes by White Widow, Ant-Man, Nova, Namor, Namora, Moon Knight, and Scarlet Scarab. They track Apocalypse across time as the TVA sends a Yellow Jacket to hunt them down. Eventually, it's revealed that Yellow Jacket is a future version of Hank Pym, and the TVA is working with Apocalypse. Namor sacrifices himself to destroy the TVA, and the team defeats Apocalypse across time. Afterwards, Moon Knight and Scarlet Scarab leave. The Wizard, the leader of the team called the Invaders, approaches the team to warn them about something. Black Panther Season 2 takes place shortly after Season 1 and deals with the return of Killmonger. The season features Black Widow, Ant-Man, and Nova. Fantastic Four Season 3 introduces a new villain called Psycho Man, who begins giving new villains powers and using his emotion-controlling abilities on Sue, turning her into the villain Malice. Psycho Man is revealed to be Julian Albert, a new employee at the Baxter Building, who was introduced earlier this season, who is being controlled by the real villain, the Maker. They manage to help Sue come to her senses, however, this is revealed to have been the Maker's plan all along. The Maker is actually Reed from the future, who plans to kill Sue in order to lead Reed down the path to becoming him. He fails, however, and is erased from existence. Daredevil Season 5 sees Matt form a new Team Daredevil, including Hellcat, Ironheart, Blade, and Echo. Blade leaves early on, but they are joined by the new Black Widow, Clairvoyant. At the same time, a violent vigilante called the Punisher shows up, who has a bit of a different design, including a mask that hides his identity, while at the same time, Frank Castle is introduced. The main villain of the season is Black Tarantula. It's eventually revealed that Echo is working for him, and so is the alternate universe Black Widow from Fantastic Four. Ultimately, it's revealed that Frank Castle is not the Punisher, rather he's Black Tarantula, and he wants revenge on Daredevil for killing his father during the events of Season 1. Black Tarantula kidnaps Matt's son and most of Team Daredevil, forcing Matt to team up with Kingpin, Boomerang, and a recovered Kraven to track him down. Black Tarantula kills himself, activating an explosion. Silk Season 2 begins with the introduction of this universe's version of Spider-Man, who has been active for a long time. He leaves early on, but it's revealed then that two spider people in the same place drew the attention of the Inheritors, led by Morlun, the season's main villain. Ned Leeds becomes Guardian. Yes, there is a Marvel character called Guardian as well. And She-Hulk is introduced. Spider-Man shows up again towards the end of the season, but won't return again for a while. Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 deals with the team being scattered across time and found by Kate Bishop. However, they are unable to find Cable. They are joined by T'Challa's grandfather, Azuri, who is a member of the Invaders, a World War II-era superhero team who were scattered across time by the season's main villains, the Masters of Evil, led by Dr. Doom, and including Kingpin, Dreykov, and a time-displaced Namor. They also kidnap Cable and brainwash him into joining them, before the Legends manage to save him, and then briefly convince Namora to join them. They succeed in rewriting reality, but the Legends manage to undo it. In doing so, however, they mess up the timeline. The crossover event Secret Invasion brings together Team Daredevil, the Fantastic Four, the Legends, and Silk as they discover a secret invasion of Skrulls on Earth. Daredevil, Foggy, Ant-Man, and Yelena are kidnapped and replaced by Skrulls while they are put into a simulation. The other heroes realize they're acting strange and defeat the Skrull versions of them, while the heroes in the simulations fight through Kingpin, Kraven, and Dreykov. They escape, and all the heroes team up against the Skrull army, defeating them.